Hello, welcome to our Wellness Matters webinar, Objects on the Road Ahead, Tools to Help You Move Forward Despite Life's Obstacles with our facilitator, Andrea Black. My name is Nicole Ingrund, and I am the owner and director of Rivers Edge Counseling Center. And our talk tonight is part of a series of talks. We usually have a couple of talks every month. Some of you may have joined us before. If it's your first time, a special welcome to you. We have one more coming up in our fall series, and that is on December 11th. And it's a special one because it's actually in person, and it's called Artful Insights, A Journey Through Emotion and Expression. And that talk, it's a bit more of a workshop with Kathy Danilik. Will also have some hands-on art making experiences that you can enjoy as well with no experience needed. Um, we already have our full lineup for the winter as well, and I'm going to be posting that on the website in the next few days. But I will let you know a couple of the first topics coming up in the new year. We have Ready for Change, the stages of change as a process, the science of seeing red, understanding and calming emotional triggers, and what to expect when you're not expecting managing infertility. And that's just a few of, I think, 8 that we still have coming up this winter. And also maybe check out our programs. The programs for winter and spring are up on their website now as well. So with that, I am going to introduce Andrea to you. Andrea is a therapist at Rivers Edge Counseling Center, and she sees children, teens, and adults in her practice. She has spent more than a decade working in the mental health field, supporting people of all ages across school systems, community programs, medical settings, and both public and private care. She brings both personal um, and insight as a spouse and a parent, and extensive professional experience, including frontline work and involvement in policy and program development. Andrea holds a Master of Social Work from the University of Calgary and is trained in several evidence-based therapies, including CBT, DBT, ACT, and accelerated resolution therapy. Her approach is always compassionate, strength-based, and trauma-informed. She believes that when we truly understand ourselves, we become empowered to make meaningful and sustainable changes in our lives. Today, she's here to guide us through that process and offer practical tools that we can begin using right away. So please welcome me and join me, in welcoming Andrea. And I'm going to turn it over to you if you want to share your presentation, and I'll just let people know that your presentation is about 40 minutes or so. So there will be time at the end of the hour for questions and comments. So if you have them, you're welcome to put them in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll take a look at them at the end. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Andrea and I'm really glad that you're here tonight. As Nicole mentioned, I've worked in a lot of different settings over the years, urban, rural, inner city, schools, doctor's offices, you name it. And even though the locations and backgrounds of the people I've supported have been diverse, there's some common threads that always show up again and again. No matter someone's age or life stage, I often hear about stress, anxiety, challenges with motivation, difficulty setting healthy boundaries, and struggles with communicating effectively. And very often, people come to therapy because they feel stuck in old patterns that once helped them but aren't serving them anymore. And here's something you should know about therapists. We love a good analogy. We truly can't help ourselves. So tonight I've built this presentation around one of my favorites, the idea that our mental health is a lot like a road trip. There's no perfect destination, no single right route, and there's no one's map that looks the same. It's all about learning the road, adjusting when things change, and finding what helps you keep moving forward. So thanks again for being here. So the truth is, none of us have arrived at some magical place where nothing ever bothers us. We're all navigating, adjusting, getting lost, finding our way again, and learning as we go. Life isn't straight and a predictable highway. Some days you're cruising along, music on, your windows down, and then suddenly you hit construction, or someone cuts you off, or you spill your coffee on your lap at the worst moment. Emotionally, it works the same way. We all have days where we feel everything is manageable, and days where even the smallest bump in the road feels huge. And just like any road trip, there's beautiful stretches, rough patches, and unexpected turns, and that's perfectly normal. There's no finish line where you suddenly become perfectly mentally healthy. It's ongoing, dynamic, and sometimes messy, and that's okay. My hope today is to give you the tools, insight, and maybe even a few mindset shifts to help you feel more confident behind the wheel of your own journey. Together, we'll explore ways to plan your route, fill your engine, handle roadblocks, ask for directions when you need them, and appreciate the scenery along the way. Today is about learning how to feel empowered to navigate life's twists and turns with more clarity, resilience, and self compassion. Think of today as a map check. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just need to be willing to look at where you are, where you want to go, and what might make the journey a little smoother. The idea that mental health is a journey, not a destination, can be incredibly freeing. So many people feel discouraged because they think that they're supposed to reach some perfect mental state and stay there forever. But that's like expecting a road trip to have no traffic, no detours, no bathroom breaks, and no cranky passengers. Life simply doesn't work that way. Instead of striving for perfection, we focus on progress, on learning, on adapting. Sometimes we feel grounded and steady. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed or off track. The important part is how we respond, how we support ourselves, and how we keep going. On this road trip, you are the driver. You hold the steering wheel. You're not in the passenger seat waiting for someone else to choose the route, and you're not being dragged along by life. You have agency, real, meaningful control over how you respond, how you pace yourself, and what direction you choose. Sure, you can't stop a storm from happening. You can't control what other drivers do, but you can decide whether to slow down, whether to pull over, to set boundaries, or to take a different route. Claiming that sense of agency is empowering. It doesn't mean doing everything alone. It means recognizing that your choices matter. In mental health, this sense of agency is incredibly important. Many of us grew up learning survival strategies that required us to brace, react, or stay small. Those strategies helped us get through tough chapters, and we can acknowledge them with compassion. But now, as adults, we get to relearn how to drive our own vehicle rather than ride in the back seat of old patterns. Being the driver also means noticing your internal dashboard, your stress signals, your emotional fuel levels, your warning lights. Instead of ignoring them or pushing through them, you get to check in and to respond with more intention. And remember, driving doesn't mean perfection. You will occasionally take wrong turns, miss exits, or need to pull over. That's not failure, that's navigating. No one does this flawlessly, and no one is expected to. What matters is that you recognize your power, your choices, and your ability to chart a path that feels authentic and sustainable to you. So you wouldn't jump into the car with an empty tank and hope for the best. With mental wellness, it's helpful to think about what you're packing with you, what fuels you, what drains you, what makes the ride smoother. Now that we've grounded ourselves in the idea that you are the driver, let's talk about what every good driver does before they hit the road. They prepare for the trip. Just like a real road trip, your mental health journey requires fuel, maintenance, planning, and the right tools. So in this next section, we're going to look at what you need in your mental health toolkit to help you steady, be supported, and be prepared for the road ahead. Sleep hygiene is like fuel. When you're exhausted, everything feels harder. A pothole feels like a crater. A slight detour feels like the end of the world. Simple habits like a consistent bedtime, limiting screens, or creating a calming routine before bed can make a huge difference on how you handle stress. If mental health is a road trip, sleep is the fuel that keeps your car running. Without it, even small bumps in the road feel massive. Your reaction slows, your focus decreases, and your resilience drops. You're much more likely to get frustrated, overwhelmed, or make mistakes when your tank is empty. Rest is the maintenance your mental engine needs. Just like you wouldn't drive a car for hundreds of miles without checking the oil, rest and recovery are essential for keeping your mind and body functioning optimally. Some practical ways to refuel and maintain your engine. Keep a consistent sleep schedule as much as possible. Going to bed and waking up at similar times strengthens your body's internal GPS. Limit screens in the hour before bed. Blue light and constant notifications can keep your mind revving when it's time to slow down. Build a wind down routine. Reading, stretching, meditation, or journaling can signal your brain that it's time to shift into rest mode. Take short breaks during the day. Even 5 minutes of mindful breathing or a quick walk helps prevent your mental fuel gauge from hitting empty. Remember, rest is not a luxury. It's not optional. It's a critical tool that allows you to keep moving, handling detours, and enjoying the journey rather than just enduring it. Included here, I would also encourage you to check in with your family doctor, if you're lucky enough to have one. Get a blood test. Check your physical health basics. Are you lacking some vitamins? Do you need some medication to help you function physically at your best? Physical health and mental health are closely tied together. When you honor your physical health needs and get enough sleep and rest, you're investing in your long-term mental health and building the energy you need to navigate life's challenges with more clarity, patience, and resilience. And sleep hygiene, just as an aside, is something that as mental health therapists, we all talk about regularly. People just aren't getting enough sleep. And making sure that you do turn off your screens an hour before bed really helps because it helps you signal the natural melatonin that your body creates. And if you keep on your screens, that blue light makes your body think that it's still daylight. So it delays producing the melatonin. Also, paying attention to what you're doing or not doing during the day really impacts sleep. So, are you drinking coffee later in the afternoon? Are you making sure you move your body during the day? Additionally, with sleep, you need to really practice the sleep routine. Doing it 1 or 2 nights in a row and finding that it doesn't make a difference, that is not, well, you have to really keep going at it. It takes about 3 weeks to create a good sleep routine. So really have to stick to it. So before any road trip, you need to know where you're going and why. That's where your values come in. Your values are what program your GPS. Motivation doesn't come out of thin air. It comes from knowing what matters to you. When your goals align with your values, they feel meaningful, and the road ahead has purpose. Your values turn goals from, I should do this, into, I want to do this because it matters to me. Values are the guiding principles that shape the direction of your life. They help you choose which roads are worth taking and which exits aren't yours. When you're connected to your values, things like family, growth, creativity, honesty, health, It all becomes easier to make decisions, set boundaries, and stay true to yourself. When your goals line up with your values, they feel meaningful and worth the effort and motivation. And motivation helps you keep going even when you're unsure. Breaking goals into small steps, little mile markers, helps keep you from feeling overwhelmed. You don't need to see the entire route. You just need to know the next turn. Motivation to start and keep going is more readily accessible when we allow ourselves to experience and celebrate the small wins along the way. So I wish I could say that the journey would be smooth, but you already know that's not true. Stress, self-doubt, low motivation, negative thinking, procrastination, these are all roadblocks. They happen to every single one of us. You're not broken or failing because you hit a rough patch. No one goes on a road trip without an emergency kit, jumper cables, a spare tire, water, maybe some snacks. Your mental health toolkit has the same idea. It includes skills and support like grounding techniques for stress. So that could be paying attention to your five senses and noticing things like what's around you, the smell, what the sounds are, what the feeling is, things like that. Using your senses to be in that moment. Reframing unhelpful thoughts, flexible problem solving, deep breathing or regulation tools, journaling or reflection, supportive people you can turn to, healthy routines, and sometimes therapy. You don't carry these tools because you expect disaster. You carry them so that you feel prepared and confident. The key is learning to reroute instead of giving up. Reframing our thoughts can help in that way. I can't do this becomes I can try one small step. I'm overwhelmed becomes I can pause and choose a starting point. I messed up becomes I can learn and adjust. Sometimes the detours lead us to a scenic view or a lesson we really needed. Flexibility is a superpower on this journey. Another important part of this journey is recognizing the routes we've always taken, the habits, reactions, and coping strategies we've picked up along the way. Many of these patterns were formed out of necessity. They were survival strategies that helped us get through difficult environments, stressful relationships, or periods when we didn't feel safe, supported, or empowered. Maybe you learned to stay quiet to avoid conflict. Maybe you learned to take care of everyone else so that you wouldn't be abandoned. Maybe you became hyper independent because relying on others never felt safe. Maybe shutting down emotionally once protected you from being hurt. These were once the best routes available on the map that you had at the time. They made sense then. They kept you safe. But here's the challenge. The roads we built for survival in the past aren't always the roads that lead us toward growth, connection, or well-being today. And oftentimes this is what brings people into therapy. As life changes, as we gain more freedom, support, or stability, we sometimes realize that these old routes no longer take us to where we want to go now. They might limit us, they might exhaust us, or keep us stuck in old patterns that don't reflect who we are now. And carving a new path, choosing a new way to respond, set boundaries, communicate, or take care of ourselves can feel incredibly scary because new routes mean unfamiliar terrain. They mean uncertainty. They mean letting go of habits that once kept us safe. It's normal to fear, hesitation, or even guilt when we begin to change. That fear isn't a sign that you shouldn't grow. is simply a sign that you're entering new territory. The good news is new routes can be built slowly, intentionally, and with support, including therapy. You don't need to bulldoze your whole map overnight. Sometimes it's enough to take one small turn, try one new skill, or make one different choice. Over time, those small shifts create entirely new paths forward. Something important to remember when changing old patterns is this: new routes require more energy at first. They take mental effort, intentionality, and sometimes emotional vulnerability. And when you're learning a new route, literally or metaphorically, you're going to feel tired faster. That's not weakness, that's normal. This is why rest is essential. You can't rewire old patterns, learn new skills, or stay emotionally steady if you're running on fumes. Just like a car on a long drive, you need pauses, refueling, and maintenance to keep going. Here's where self-compassion and self-care connect. Self-compassion is the mindset that allows you to be gentle with yourself on the journey. Self-care is the action, what you actually do to support your well-being. Think of it like maintaining a car. You can tell your car, "You're doing great," but if you never put gas in it, change the oil, or pull over when it's overheating, it won't get very far. Similarly, speaking kindly to yourself is important, but you also need to make choices that refuel, restore, and protect your energy. Self-care isn't indulgent or selfish. It's required maintenance. And self-compassion makes self-care sustainable, turning it from a chore or a luxury into a natural extension of valuing yourself. So for people, when they kind of think about doing self-care, sometimes it can seem overwhelming, especially when they've already got so much on their plate. But when you reframe self-care into doing simple acts like turning on your favorite music when you're driving home from work, or making your favorite meal, or putting clean sheets on your bed, these different things are acts of self-care that you can do just in your regular life. The next slide will focus on recognizing when your tank is low and understanding how to pace yourself to prevent burnout. You can't drive forever without stopping. Most of us weren't taught to rest. We were taught to push through, to be productive, to say yes, to handle everything ourselves. But our bodies and minds are not machines. Even machines need maintenance. This is when burnout happens. It doesn't happen overnight. Burnout is like driving with that little orange fuel light on. At first you think, it's fine, I can go a little longer. Then the engine starts making strange noises, steering feels off, and suddenly you're pulled over on the side of the road wondering how you got here. When burnout creeps in, it often looks like feeling emotionally drained even after small tasks, becoming more irritable or impatient, having trouble concentrating, everything feels slower, a sense of numbness or being disconnected, losing interest in things you normally enjoy, a constant feeling of being behind. Burnout is not a sign that you're weak. It's a sign that you've been strong for too long without enough support or rest. So this is a big mind shift for many of us, because we learned that slowing down means you're falling behind or not trying hard enough. But the truth is, the people who pace themselves actually last longer, stay healthier, and make steadier progress. Think of it this way. If you were on a long road trip and drove as fast as you could the entire way, never stopping, ignoring your fuel, ignoring warning signs, you wouldn't make it. You'd burn out your engine long before you made it to your destination. Life works the same way. Pacing yourself means some of these things: knowing your limits and respecting them, breaking tasks into manageable pieces, giving yourself permission to pause, listening to your body's early warning signs, taking breaks before you crash, allowing yourself slower seasons without guilt, recognizing that progress still counts, even if it's small. So here are some practical ways to fuel up and to engage in self-care. Like I kind of mentioned before, it can be taking 5 quiet minutes before tasks or meetings, letting one non-essential task go this week, sit outside with coffee instead of checking emails, listen to music you love, saying no to something that drains you, asking for help with one task, take real breaks instead of guilt breaks. It can mean just taking your lunch break when you're supposed to take your lunch break, or taking your lunch break and not being on your phone, like going for a walk, things like that. These small acts of rest add up. They keep your mental and emotional engine running smoothly. It also means being realistic about your energy levels. Some days you have the energy for a highway drive. Other days, you're meant for a slow, scenic route. Neither one is wrong. They're just different. The goal isn't to go fast, it's to go far. When you pace yourself, you're investing in your long-term well-being. You're saying, I want to stay healthy enough to enjoy the journey, not just survive it. I want to be present for my life, not running on fumes. I want to arrive with energy, gratitude, and joy, not exhaustion. When we talked earlier about old routes, those survival strategies that once kept us safe, it's common to realize that some of those habits, while protective at the time, no longer serve us. For example, maybe in the past you learned to say yes to everyone to avoid conflict, or to put other people's needs before your own to feel safe or accepted. At that time, those patterns prevented danger and kept you moving forward. But now, those same routes can leave you feeling exhausted, overextended, or disconnected from what truly matters to you. This is where healthy boundaries come in. Boundaries are the new guardrails for the journey you're navigating today. They aren't about pushing yourself or punishing yourself or others. They're about protecting your energy, your time, and your emotional well-being so that you can travel further and more safely. In other words, as we carve out new routes for ourselves, we also need to install new safety measures. Boundaries help us leave behind patterns that no longer serve us and create space for behaviors, relationships, and habits that support our growth and well-being. Think of it this way. If your old survival strategies were the roads that got you through a storm, boundaries are the signs, guardrails, and traffic rules that help you navigate new, safer roads. They allow you to travel forward with more clarity, confidence, and freedom. So let's break this down into 3 important types of boundaries: personal, digital, and relationship boundaries. So for personal boundaries, they protect your own energy and your capacity. Personal boundaries are limits that you set around your time, energy, and emotional space. These are the moments when you say, I can't take on one more thing today, or I need 10 minutes to decompress before I'm ready to talk. Personal boundaries help prevent burnout. They ensure you're not running on empty or driving faster than your vehicle can sustain. When you set personal boundaries, you're choosing sustainability over pleasing and self-neglect. Digital boundaries, the invisible drain on our well-being. Let's be honest, we live in a world where our phones can easily hijack our attention and emotional state. Digital boundaries are like controlling the traffic flow on your mental highway. Consider setting limits on notifications, scheduling phone-free time, being mindful of what content you consume, recognizing when scrolling becomes a distraction from uncomfortable emotions. Digital boundaries help create mental space. They protect your focus and reduce emotional overstimulation, almost like choosing a quieter, more scenic route instead of a chaotic highway during rush hour. And digital boundaries are really important when it comes to people's mental health, and because we're getting bombarded by everything, we're comparing ourselves to people that we don't even know, and we assume other people have lives that are so much perfect than ours. So when I talk to my clients about their phones and about social media, I kind of roll that into a whole section of like even what we consume in our body, including food, because we're consuming social media in our body just like that. It impacts us. So taking time to even consider a detox from your phone or using it more mindfully can be helpful. Using it as the tool that it was intended to be, like even taking time to say, I'm using my phone to look up a recipe, or paying attention to how much you're using it. Are you on your phone when you're watching a movie? Maybe trying to put it away to set that boundary for yourself. Relationship boundaries, clear lanes for healthy connection. In relationships, whether family, friends, coworkers, or partners, boundaries create clarity about what behavior is okay and what isn't. They help you say, I'm not available to talk about that right now. It can allow you to say, I can support you, but I can't fix this for you. Or it might sound like, I need respect in our conversations. Without relationship boundaries, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, resentful, or emotionally pulled into lanes that aren't yours to drive in. Boundaries keep relationships balanced, allowing connection without self-sacrifice. Boundaries aren't walls. They're not punishments. They're tools for connection, clarity, and emotional safety. Boundaries say, this is what I need to stay well, and I value myself enough to protect that. And just like on a road trip, boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you weren't taught how to set them, but they become easier with practice, and the more consistent you are, the smoother your journey. But as much as boundaries are about protecting yourself, we also know that no one travels the road of life completely alone. Even the most self-reliant driver benefits from a co-pilot, someone who can help navigate, share the load, or simply make the journey more enjoyable. This is where your companions on the journey come in. These might be friends, family members, mentors, colleagues, or mental health professionals who support you, offer perspective, and help you stay on course. Think of them as the co-drivers, GPS helpers, or fellow travelers who make the trip more manageable, less lonely, and sometimes even more fun. These people help you read the map when you're feeling lost, or simply keep you company along the way. Don't be afraid to ask for directions or invite someone into your process. Connection doesn't require grand gestures. It can be as simple as checking in with one person. How are you doing? Or telling them that today has been a lot for me. Small moments of honest connection go a long way. Reaching out isn't weakness, it's how we create support, and support strengthens resilience. Clear communication is like talking to the passengers in your car. If everyone's frustrated and no one's saying anything, tension builds fast. Clear, respectful communication makes the journey smoother and prevents conflicts that can derail your progress. When we communicate effectively, we build stronger relationships and create support systems for our mental health journey. I statements, active listening, and staying respectful keep your relationships running smoothly and prevent small issues from becoming full-blown collisions. Try reframing things like, you never listen. Change that into, I feel unheard when. Using I statements like that changes the tone and opens up conversation instead of creating defensiveness. Good communication helps everyone understand what's happening and what to expect, making the journey smoother and safer. And that brings us to another important part of navigating any road trip, where we focus our attention. On a real drive, we use the windshield to see what's ahead and the rearview mirror to check out what's behind us. That same principle applies to our mental health journey. How we communicate, both with others and ourselves, can influence whether we stay stuck in old conflicts or regrets, or whether we're able to look ahead and move toward the life we want. Clear, grounded communication helps keep the windshield clear and prevents us from getting lost in the rearview mirror. So now let's explore how to balance the two, learning from the past without getting pulled back into it, and keeping our focus on the present and the road ahead. The past is like the rearview mirror, important for reference, reflection, and safety. It teaches us, it shapes us, and gives us insight. But if we stare at it for too long, we miss what's right in front of us. Our main focus needs to be through the windshield, the present moment, and the path ahead. Dwelling too much on the past makes or regrets us from noticing opportunities, supports, and changing what happens right now. Practical ways to balance looking back and looking forward include reflect briefly on the past, then shift to an actionable next step right now. Asking yourself, what lessons can I take from this? And what can I do differently now? Use mindfulness to stay aware of what's happening in the present and celebrate small wins and moments of progress. Remember, the goal is balance. Check the rearview mirror to learn, but keep your eyes on the windshield to live. That balance allows you to move forward with intention, confidence, and clarity. Life, like a road trip, isn't only about arriving at a destination. It's about the journey itself. The small wins, the moments of joy, and the people we share the ride with, or enjoying the scenery. Take time to enjoy the scenery is a practice of mindfulness and gratitude. It allows us to slow down, notice what's going right, and appreciate the progress we've made, even if it's just one small step forward. Some ways to practice this on a daily basis: pause and notice. Take a few moments to really see your surroundings, breathe, and appreciate the present. Celebrate small wins. Did you set a boundary successfully? Take a break today, complete a task, drink your water, acknowledge it. Gratitude check-ins. Notice one thing that you're grateful for each day, whether it's supporting a friend, a moment of calm, or even a cup of coffee in the morning. Savor simple joys. Listen to the music you love. Watch the sunset. Take a walk outside. Tiny moments lift your mood. Remember, Enjoying the scenery doesn't mean ignoring challenges or responsibilities. It's about pausing long enough to see what's positive and nourishing in your life, even on difficult stretches. The goal is to make the journey meaningful, not just survive it. These small practices help us feel more present, reduce stress, and build resilience so that we can continue moving forward with energy and intention. So, as we continue this road trip analogy, think of these moments as scenic overlooks, places to pause, reflect, and appreciate the view before you continue your path. Lots of people find that journaling in the evening before bed, thinking about two things even that they were, grateful for that day, two things that made them smile, and two things that they're looking forward to the next day. That can kind of shift your mindset to focusing on the positives. And once your brain knows that you're going to be doing this as a practice, it starts logging and zoning in on those positive things around you and that are happening to you because it knows that you're going to be writing them down at night. So that just kind of solidifies some of that mindset that you can more positively move forward. In conclusion, your mental health journey is lifelong. There will always be twists, turns, and lessons along the way. Some days the road will be smooth and sunny, other days stormy and challenging, and that's okay. It's all part of the trip. Be gentle with yourself. Recognize the effort that you've made, even if it doesn't feel like enough. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Notice the people beside you, friends, family, mentors, or colleagues who support, guide, or simply accompany you along the path. They make the ride richer and more meaningful. Give yourself permission to enjoy the ride, not just endure it. Stop at the scenic viewpoints, laugh at the unexpected detours, take breaks when you need them, fill your tank before you run on empty. These small acts of care and awareness help you stay on the road longer with more energy, perspective, and joy. Remember, there's no finish line where everything suddenly becomes perfect. The journey itself is the reward, the learning, the growth, and the moments of beauty along the way. And if you notice areas that feel particularly challenging, like motivation, coping with stress, maintaining boundaries, or navigating difficult relationships, I encourage you to explore them further with a mental health therapist. As therapists, we offer personalized guidance, support, and tools to help you navigate these parts of the journey more effectively. Today, I was just able to touch on them briefly. Seeking help is not a sign of weakness. It's a smart, proactive step toward traveling the road of life with more confidence and balance. Thank you for being here today and for giving yourself the time and attention to invest in your own well-being. I hope you leave this space with a little more clarity, some practical tools, and a renewed sense that your journey, with all its ups and downs, is entirely yours to navigate and enjoy.
So much, Andrea. That was an amazing presentation. So helpful for us and as an ongoing resource for clients on our website as well. Some of you may need to go, and if that's the case, I want to thank you again for joining us tonight and remind you that you are always welcome to join for our talks.